In Silicon Valley, failure is almost expected. Products don't work. Companies go bankrupt. Ideas disappear every single day. But Theranos wasn't just another failed startup. It promised something extraordinary. A revolutionary machine capable of running hundreds of medical tests using only a single drop of blood. No needles, no waiting, no expensive laboratory equipment. If true, it would change medicine forever. Investors believed it. Politicians praised it. The media called its founder the next Steve Jobs. At its peak, Theranos was valued at $9 billion. There was only one problem. The technology never actually worked. Elizabeth Holmes wasn't a scientist with decades of experience. She wasn't a Nobel Prize winner. She wasn't even a college graduate. At just 19 years old, she dropped out of Stanford University. Her dream? To revolutionize healthcare. She founded Theranos in 2003. Holmes understood something many entrepreneurs never learn. People don't invest in technology. They invest in stories. And she told an incredible one. She adopted Steve Jobs' signature black turtleneck, lowered her voice, spoke about changing humanity. Investors weren't just funding a company. They believed they were witnessing history. Imagine replacing dozens of painful blood tests with a single finger prick. Imagine receiving results within minutes. Imagine lowering healthcare costs across the world. That was Theranos' promise. The company claimed its machine, called Edison, could perform hundreds of laboratory tests using only tiny amounts of blood. If true, it would have transformed medicine. Doctors love the idea. Patients love the idea. Investors love the idea. But inside the laboratories, reality looked very different. The Edison machine struggled constantly. Many tests produced inaccurate results. Others simply failed. Employees repeatedly warned management. Engineers couldn't make the technology reliable. Instead of delaying the launch, Theranos chose another path. Secrecy. Employees were divided into isolated teams. Most people had no idea what others were working on. Questions weren't welcomed. Doubt wasn't tolerated. And when demonstrations were held for investors, machines were often carefully staged. Sometimes, the blood samples weren't even being tested by Theranos technology. Many were secretly analyzed using traditional commercial laboratory equipment. The revolutionary machine investors believed in was largely an illusion. Theranos attracted some of the most influential people in America. Former secretaries of state, military leaders, business executives, media moguls. Its board looked more like a presidential advisory committee than a healthcare company. Yet very few members had experience in laboratory medicine. Investors poured hundreds of millions into the company. Walgreens signed a major partnership. Patients began trusting Theranos with their health, all based on one assumption, that the technology actually worked. Then one journalist started asking uncomfortable questions. John Carreyrou, from the Wall Street Journal. He interviewed former employees, reviewed internal documents, verified confidential sources. The deeper he investigated, the stranger the story became. Theranos tried to stop him. Lawyers threatened whistleblowers. Employees signed strict confidentiality agreements. Pressure mounted, but facts are stubborn things. In October 2015, the Wall Street Journal published its investigation. Everything changed. Regulators launched investigations. Partners walked away. Investors demanded answers. The company's valuation collapsed. $9 billion became essentially zero. In 2018, Theranos officially dissolved. Years later, Elizabeth Holmes was convicted on multiple counts of fraud. The company that promised to transform healthcare never delivered the technology that made it famous. Theranos wasn't simply a failed startup. Failure is common. Fraud is different. The company convinced the world that ambition could replace evidence, that storytelling could replace science, that confidence could replace truth. But medicine isn't built on promises. It's built on proof. And no matter how convincing the story, reality eventually demands evidence. Because in business, just like in finance, every lie leaves a trail. And sooner or later, someone follows the money.